Are you ready to get provoked? You're listening to Can I Live, a show created to excite, ignite, and expose. Let's tune in with your host, R.W. Jones. Welcome to the Can I Live podcast. I'm your host, R.W. Jones, and we got Glenn Warren in the building from Fathers Forever. Is it a Father Forever or Fathers Forever?
Fathers Forever.
Fathers. Oh, there you
Yeah,
go. Fathers
our
Forever.
website is A Father Forever.
Father Forever. Okay, perfect.
That's the name of it. Yeah.
Cool beans. And so, as most of you guys know, as always, we always open the show because just explaining to you that, hey, we're on a mission to move 1 million moms off the welfare system, and you can't move moms off the welfare system if you don't address the needs of fathers. As simple as that. And so we missed you guys last week, and we're here this week. Anthony James is not with us this week, but hopefully he'll be back next week. And we're talking dilemmas today.
Wait, Racquel, before you get started, let's say happy birthday to
Oh,
Glenn.
yeah. Happy birthday, Glenn.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, can you share how old you are today? How much wisdom you have more today?
I don't know about the wisdom part, but I'm 63 years old as today.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. 63. Blessings.
Yes.
You got plans for today?
So yeah, actually, reason why we got to leave early because we got dinner reservation at 8:15. I pushed it back because I know I want to do the podcast.
And he's dedicated, y'all. Anytime you got someone on their birthday and they're spending that time with us to talk about these dilemmas, I mean, he's all in, you guys. So we're gonna get to it. Definitely, if you can, go to Amazon and pick up a copy of Get Your Hands Out My Pocket. It's the hands-on guide to avoiding the child support system. And so we're going to talk about some dilemmas today because I promise you, these are real life things that have happened. But we want to ask you guys out there, live on Facebook, those that are joining us, what would you do? And I'm going to ask you, Glenn, what was happening with this person as they actually went through this scenario. So scenario one is you have 5 children. Okay. 5 children, and you are supporting every one of them. You're a good father, right? You make a pretty decent salary as a truck driver, but after child support deductions, you can hardly pay your rent. One of your children's mothers recently requested a cost of living adjustment. For most of you guys, it's called COLA, also known as COLA. And now you are required to pay more money than you already paid. In fact, the increase is so much that you won't be able to pay your rent. So you get a second job to help make ends meet, to only find out that child support wants to take that income into account as well. What do you do? So, A, do you quit both jobs or ask your employers to switch you to an off the book status? B, do you request a modification, file for joint custody for all of your children? Doing this, of course, it says no, joint custody decreases your child support liability, causing you to pay less since you are assuming half of the responsibility. Doing this means that you are willing and able to take on the responsibility of being an active father in the life of your child. You assume responsibility for everything that goes on in your child's life, as well as making sure that the communication between you and your child's mother is open, and you are modeling the way for positive parenting. And you get a third job. Or C, you grumble, you curse, and complain because you're so pissed off and you feel powerless against the situations. Or in other words, you do nothing and be broke. Or E, move out of state where no one can locate your whereabouts. Well, now, Glenn, the person who quits his job, asks to work off the books. So the employer might say, sure, you can work off the books. What kind of person is that? Is that a bad person? Is it an irresponsible person? A person that's just trying to survive? What would you say?
Well, I guess if you're making a decent salary, your employer, number one, can't pay you because they got to account for that money. If you're making, $10,000 a month, a year, I mean, if you got a good job, it's not possible for them to pay you under the table because they can't have that money. So now if you got a little part-time job, that's possible, yeah. But so it's going to limit your ability to get a good job because like I said, employers cannot hide that
Yeah,
$30.
that's illegal
That's
somewhat.
illegal. Yeah,
Yeah, to pay under the table would be suspect. And
yeah,
so,
yeah. And so they're not gonna put their company at risk because avoid you paying child support.
okay.
Um, Quitting is not realistically good either. I mean, because if you do it on the put it under the table, if you work most of your adult life under the table, what's going to happen when you become 62 years old and you're trying to get your Social Security? They don't have no. They can't. You didn't put none in
You're
because all
gonna
your
get that,
work is
you're gonna get that minimum payment of
exactly.
$700 something and have
Yes,
no teeth in your mouth because
yes.
you ain't
Because
gonna have
all
no.
your payments has been under the table. So that's paying under the table is bad thing all around. That should not be a valuable option that you even consider.
But the more I make, the more they take. The more I make, the more they take. The more I make, the more they take. How do I get out of that?
Well, the worksheets that they use, you need to make sure. Again, I know you don't like these worksheets, but
The
they
worksheet.
but I mean they have to have a standard of how they come up with your payment. They just can't pull that out of a hat.
Trust me, they be doing that, Glenn. You don't believe me. You done heard enough stories that told you these people, they got the calculator from on high and they just be in there. And I'm telling you that the man just be saying, the judge just be just shooting out numbers. That damn a worksheet.
Because
They only do worksheets in your courtroom.
actually, for the last 12 years we've been in, I've seen these worksheets. I've seen the social worker present to the judge based on his salary. This is the worksheet we use.
Okay, so here it is. So I know about the worksheet. Yes, because okay, so here's okay. So not saying that the worksheet is not real. The worksheet is very real. The worksheet actually is the worksheet she is doing, the caseworker is doing in the background after talking to the mom, because the mom, she's telling the mom is telling her, or the custodial parent is telling the caseworker what she makes and what she thinks the husband makes based off of pay stubs. Sometimes there's no pay stubs.
Okay, the worksheet is verified by both incomes, what he makes and what she makes. They don't take her word that he's making $40,000 a year. He's got to
He
provide.
can't prove it. If he can't prove it, they
But-
will.
Well, why couldn't he prove if he's working?
He
You don't have-
he a street pharmaceutical. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, well, that be the case then. I mean, but they still, if he can't prove how much he's making, they're gonna base it on minimum wage. They're not gonna, your ability to pay. So if you're not working, they do the worksheet based on minimum wage for him and her. So it's a combination of both employment being verified. So he's got to provide proof that he's working somewhere with his check stubs. Sometimes barbers and other people
Yeah.
but the thing about that is they may say we're making X amount of dollars and their child support is based on that. When they go try to qualify for a loan, they're not going to get it because your tax return said you made $15,000. You actually made $40,000, but you hid the rest of it, so it's still hurting you.
Yeah, I don't know if people even think that far. I don't think we're thinking that far. But nonetheless, moving out of state, that's not cool. Grumble, curse. So we have this analogy that you're gonna be so broke you can't pay. You're gonna let me get my little chart. It's angry that you won't pay. You're so angry you won't pay. You're so broke that you can't pay, or you work off the books and you don't pay.
Well, when you don't pay, that's when the trouble comes in at. That's when the enforcement of your child support has not been fulfilled, and that's when you risk of going to jail. And that's where the trouble starts. Because now you've got to hide and do all those things because they're looking for you because you haven't made your child support obligations.
Yeah. Okay. So here's scenario 2, and we'll keep it short tonight. So you and your long-time female companion are having trouble. You love her and want to marry her someday. In the midst of your trouble, you meet someone that you are very attracted to. You let her know that you recently came out of a relationship, but leave out the details that you guys are still trying to work things out. One thing leads to another, and the two of you become intimate. The relationship that the two of you have is merely physical. No one is complaining, and all seems to be going well until about 2 months later, she tells you that she is pregnant. What do? Do you tell her the baby's not yours and disappear? Do you let her know that you are not ready to be a father and ask her to get an abortion and then volunteer to pay for it? Do you ask her what she wants to do and support whatever decision she makes, knowing that this could be the end of your previous relationship with the woman you love? Or do you tell her you need some time to get your thoughts together? Meantime, you rush over to your significant other's house to see how tight the two of you really are, in hopes that when you tell her, the two of you together can come up with a game plan, knowing there's a good chance that she will take you back. Or E, you do nothing major, just keep things as they have been and figure that you'll deal with the baby when it arrives. You continue the same routine you have had and make no new changes. And so let's see what we got, if anybody is answering that.
Well,
Go ahead.
one of the chapters I write in When Love Is Not Enough, it calls Rumor Has It. The story is Rumor Has It. And the rumor is that scenario
Is it?
talked about. Yes.
I think we talked about that once before.
Precisely, and it happened to one of the guys that was in our class.
And what did he do?
Okay, this is what he did, and what he's still doing. To be honest with you, he decided not to do nothing about it.
He was E. He did E. Nothing.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yes, but
I think a lot of men do that.
But he is paying child support, and apparently his new girlfriend found out about that. Well, I guess she did, because the babies are 2 months apart, because she was pregnant too. So he got two babies, one with the girlfriend that he now married to, and the other with the other girl.
Mhm.
And he had two boys, and both of them were born. Well, I think like 4 months apart.
Mhm.
And one son, he's not. I don't think he probably never seen. Unless I talked to him, he hasn't seen his son. And his son is 9 years old now.
Wow.
And he is still paying child support, but he hasn't spent. But I guess the girlfriend found out about it and was able to work it out, because they.
But let's talk about that, because there is a correlation. And I remember, Monet, your mom told me this. God bless her soul. When she was alive, I remember she said to me, she said, men will treat your children how they see you. And based on the relationship you and that male have, will be kind of sort of like the relationship that he will have with those children. And I never really understood it. It didn't really make me feel too good, because I was like, well, what the hell? What the hell did I do? Shit. But the mere fact that 9-year-old, my thing is this, and here's the understanding. How, if you are a real father to your heart,
Right.
a real father to your heart, how do you be a father to one child but not the other? Right. I'm trying to understand who you are. You like an imposter. You cannot be a real person. Like you, meaning whoever you in a relationship with, you ain't even authentic. You're not even really being loved or loving, because right. I believe you got to match each other wholeheartedly. Right. You attract who you are. Right. There's no way you can have a child and take care of one child with one mom, and you got one or two other children somewhere else, and you just ignore them.
There's hundreds of men, there's thousands of men that do that.
Then you're not a father at all to the one.
Well, one day we went to court, right? And I'm sitting there, and this guy is compassionate. He's almost crying, because the judge told him, you are not, pretty much said, you are a deadbeat dad. And he's like, no, I'm not. I take care of my kids. And he was right to some degree, because the girl that he lived with, they had a child. He went to that child's football game, basketball game, picked him up, took him to school every day. Everything he wanted to have in a father, he was. However, the one that he was going to court about, he hadn't seen in probably 5 or 6 years. And the guy lived probably 30 minutes from him. That's why the judge said, you are a deadbeat dad. And he's like, no, I'm not a deadbeat dad. Blah, 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 blah. But you're doing it over here. You're a good dad. But over here, and I'm sitting there, I don't know this guy, but I'm believing what I'm hearing because he's so passionate about it.
He about to cry in the courtroom.
Yes. But he's, I'm not a deadbeat dad. Then find out, the judge said, well, why are you not taking care of your son over here? And he dropped his head.
He had nothing to say.
He had nothing to say. Because if you think they'll go, if you don't, it's like putting, an ostrich, they put their head in a hole, the butt still come in the air because they think if I can't see them, they can't see me. That's what it is. They hide, and they, hopefully the child support go away, or I don't know what they're thinking about.
But I think that right there signals, it should be a signal. So if any of you guys are listening and you have one child that you are dedicated to, but you got like 1, 2, 3 others or somewhere else that you're not, dude, that's trauma. You got issues. You got to go get, call Miss V, Veronica Scott for therapy, because that's not normal.
That's incongruent. That's you are not being authentic.
That's right.
Believe it or not, there are people in our classes that have 3 kids and a wife in New York. You leave New York, you divorce, you come to North Carolina, you get married again, you get 2 kids with her. Y'all divorced, now you move to Atlanta and you get another wife with another set of kids. So you got 3 or 4 kids for 3 or 4 different families, and you're not taking care of, except for the one that you're living with.
Now I'm gonna say something else. Guess what? I know one thing. I wouldn't be with no man that has some kids somewhere else and wasn't taken care of. And there are some women out there, and I know them personally, that will curse their man to the floor if he even think about going to the other woman's house to go see his kids. They will give them all hell. So listen, hello, this is the drama, and I'm on Glenn's bandwagon today. That stuff, honey child, the child support system ain't gonna fix. No. If that is not a clear indication that we got some issues that have to be addressed, period. First of all, how can you be with a man that you do not want him to be a father? Who are you?
Right. Who
are you? You just as authentic as his fake ass.
Yes, but there are women out there and there are men, and they got kids all spread all over the place, and they got the different wives all over the place, and they're not taking care of them. And these women, like you said, sometimes
I wish.
I don't want you to go take care of me. Forget about Johnny. I want you to take care of me and our 2 kids.
That's sick.
Forget him.
That's sick. Because then we wonder why we got these fatherless homes, these childless homes, and people don't have a father, and all you do is caring about yourself.
Exactly.
We're sick. And that's a part of our sickness.
Yes.
You are not whole. You should not even be considered. Like, okay, fine. You in a relationship and y'all just playing house. That is not authentic love. Real love is patient. Real love is kind. It does not easily anger. It keeps no record of wrong. It does not dishonor. Real love. So guess what, y'all? He can't love you and think that he's not dishonoring you when he's dishonoring a child that he's not even acknowledging. Dishonor is dishonor. It's like a little what they call it, a little leavening it the whole lump. Once the yeast is in the bread, it's the whole damn bread got the yeast. And so now everybody got the yeast infection because the yeast is in the bread. And you can't escape it.
And most of the time, that relationship don't last.
Because of course it don't. How could it?
It don't last. Now he's gonna leave her with the 2 kids, just like he left the other woman with the 2 kids.
I'm gonna promise you. And here's where I know for sure. I've been there. So I had a marriage that I promise you was all flesh. I made an intellectual decision, and it was a dumbass. How you gonna make a smart dumbass decision? It was dumb from gate. And then it was just this, it was embedded in dysfunction, embedded in deceit, embedded in just abnormality. And I made that word up. I'll make words up. But that marriage was so horrible. He was such a horrible man. I was tortured every day of my life that I was with that man. And I vowed to, I thought actually I was going to kill him or he was going to kill me. So I wouldn't even made it this far if it wasn't for the Lord. But I vowed, I was like, I ain't never doing no marriage like that again. Lord, if you do not speak this next go round, because I did want to be married. So from 2009, I married in 2007, got divorced in 2009. We didn't even make it 6 months. Mind you, we were together for like 13 years. Couldn't make it 6 months. And then remarried 2015. However, I had to master love because I knew that whoever I wanted, I had to become. I couldn't ask God for a man that I was not. We would be wanting men to love us. Lord, where my husband coming? When you and being deserving and worthy of a husband ain't got nothing to do with your credit score, ain't got nothing to do with you cleaning your house in the morning. They be like, the Proverbs 31 woman. It has everything to do with your ability to love.
Yeah.
Master love. Because love would never dishonor another. Right. It's not, I'm just going to dishonor him because he's my husband. Love is not compartmentalized to your relationships. It is. It's like a spirit, love. Right. And with a spirit, it just is or is not. And so it's like, you love me. In order for me to love my husband, I got to love my sons. Right. I can't love a man, but then piss all over my children like they dogs and I don't give a damn about them, or vice versa. So it just is. Ugh.
And these men,
I don't want no part of that.
Sometimes these women, I would rather have a piece of man than a real man. They know this guy should be taking care of his kids.
A piece of man.
But
that's
just
torture.
They want a piece of man, and they get what they ask for, and eventually he's gonna do it to them.
Yeah. And I want to be able to, I think one day, I don't know when, but I have had my fair share of relationships, good and bad and different, you name it. But there is something like when God joins you together by way of the spirit, it's so different. It's sweatless. They say marriage is hard work. Yeah, if it's by the flesh, it's hard. But when God joins you, y'all might have some little ups and downs and some little things y'all got to deal with, but it's easy. Yeah. Like marriage by the spirit is easy and it's lovely. And I just could not imagine my husband having a son that I would utter. God would rebuke me. I would be rebuked if I ever utter my lips to say, don't go see your son, because it ain't my son.
Right. But there are hundreds and thousands of women and these men, and I tell the guys too, if you got kids over here and you start to date this girl and she's already getting married to you because you spending time with your kids, don't do
it.
Because you already see the flags are already up.
You should see it, but how can you see it? Exactly. So what she is a sick. She would be sick, and then you would be sick too. Because I was sick, he was sick, we were sick together.
So you get two sick people together. They're gonna continue to do sick things, and then they're gonna fall out of love or whatever. Then these kids are a result of these broken people trying to co-parent. Okay. Therein lies the problem, and that's why I keep saying we want to blame the system for things that the system is not. Again, I've said 1,000 times, the system is not imperfect and it does have its flaws. However, there's a whole lot that the system is not designed to fix. It can't fix and it won't fix.
So let me ask you this, Glenn. So do you think that the system is or should be responsible for possibly providing parenting classes?
Absolutely. What I think one of the reasons that the system should get involved in is to start to educate people what it is to be a parent. I mean, just like when you get a DUI, you have to go to class with substance abuse. If you beat somebody up, you have to go to anger management classes
Yeah.
because that education changes your perception about drinking and driving, and also about beating people up that you're supposed to love. But if the court system get more involved in ordering these men, just like you order them to go to a DUI class, don't you?
You
You order
do.
them to
I had a
you order them to a anger management class. Do that when
yeah.
it comes out to parenting.
Now I will tell people that that is part of our policy initiative is when you go to seek child support, you have to show that you guys have tried, you have had to have some kind of mediation,
Yes.
parenting course or something before a child support order is rendered.
Yes.
It is just a safeguard. Number one, nobody wants to go through it. Number two, try to work it out on your own because there are these issues that need to be worked out and can be worked out outside of the court. That's just a thing.
And
And yeah,
the other thing is when there is a divorce, we might do this at the beginning, but when there is a divorce, I, personally, I think the court should make the couples go through maybe not together because they're divorced. Obviously, they don't like each other.
yeah,
So
a parenting something like a
a parenting
parenting
class,
part.
a co-parenting class.
Yeah.
Now you are separated.
Yeah.
This I require you to do these 3 hours of co-parenting, and I require you to do it. And then now they have some education of how to co-parent and how to put your disillusion with and your unforgiveness and your bitterness and focus on the kids.
Yeah.
See, so I think that the system could do more to get involved. And
Now they might say, now let me ask you this. You just said that the system, while it has its flaws, is designed to do certain things, and that is it's not designed to fix. So why would we even try to propose a plan for them to fix it? Why is it their job to fix it? What if the church fixed it? I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, because it's education is what fixed things. The DUI, that's what fixed people. The anger management, that's what fixed people. Now you've been a co-parent. Before you start to act crazy and blame each other, realize what you could do to your kids. Because sometimes they have no clue what they're doing to their kids. They would, but they don't.
So, well, maybe we just have to show the impact. Maybe our job is to draw out the impact. That's what we want to do with the animation here. We're excited about that. Will be a thing. And maybe we just draw out the impact that it has on the children so that people, policymakers, program providers, participants, people can just see the damage and impact and effects that it has on the children, and then they will be doing it. So I'm super stoked and psyched at the same time. Okay.
And the other thing is when you are behind in your child support, we do, I mean, our organization does it. But I don't know too many other organizations that the court will order them to a program like ours. It needs to be programs like us all over the country, not just Father Forever.
True.
To be in the child support court,
yeah,
and when the guy is behind and say, you know what, instead of putting you in jail, we're going to send you to this class to teach you how to be a good father because apparently you're not.
Yeah.
That needs to happen on a broader scale. That needs to happen more in every county.
And I believe that. And that to me, if you have a fatherhood program, and I know the feds have some type of fatherhood initiative, that needs to be a part of it. How dare you put an initiative out there just for the sake of putting it out there if you're not going to really address the needs of fathers?
Yeah, because society does not treat fatherhood the way it should be treated. They got a whole lot of programs for women and kids. So I think I asked you this before. If you had an organization that you want to donate money for, what was?
Yeah, you was telling me the animals,
the animals,
moms,
the women, and the father. Which one would you give to the last or the first?
Fathers.
It won't be the father. The father's gonna be the last. So we don't put the emphasis on fatherhood like we do everything else, and that is the problem because the fathers are not out, or they're absent from home, and we are. It's like I use this illustration a lot. You put a glass on the table, it falls over, all the water is spilling out on the floor, and we got our mops and we got our towels, and we're trying to clean the water off the floor and the table. But what we forgot to do was stand the glass up.
Mhm.
If you don't stand the glass up, the water can keep flowing. In this case, you got to stand the men up. If you get them, and show them what it is to be a father, teach them what it is to be a father. Then you won't be the water won't be spilled because it's in the glass.
And that's why we want to focus our attentions on fathers. And even though, and interestingly enough, whenever you start looking at grants, you can go to Global Giving, go to all of these places. Women and children are one of the top, outside of the seals and the animals and Save the Tigers of Siberia.
Yes.
Women and children are the number one. And I'm like, holy Toledo's, what happened to the fathers?
Yep.
And so our main goal is, because we know and have done the research, I can't even help. I can help her to a degree, and we do, but also to the degree that daddy can start paying her some child support.
Exactly.
Oh, that can alleviate her situation real good. And so I want to make sure that some of the women don't think that I'm like some hating ass Black woman that's out here trying to just make, our lives live in hell. No, I know how we can get. I am a Black woman. I'm definitely for the Black man. I'm for the Black family. I'm for the Black children. I'm for God's children, all children. But there's some answers that need to happen here when it comes to Black and brown families. And I don't care how much money you throw at it, money is not going to solve this problem. It's going to take us doing this work. It's going to take organizations like Can I Live and Fathers Forever, Men of Vision Exposed, fatherhood programs, reentry programs, honestly. And here's another thing. I'm going to say it, and maybe not today, but I promise you these words will come back full circle. The government is not going to be the ones to get us out of the situation, because guess what? If you get any kind of funding from the government is coming and telling you, hey, we know the situation. We know we have a solution. We want you to provide this. They're going to give you these very rigid, strict guidelines to follow. And it's going to be almost impossible to do what needs to be done.
Right.
And so agencies that go after that money, they're going to just be responsible for answering those numbers, getting those outcomes. And so unless we get real hearted philanthropy to the table, foundations that's really wanting to do this work.
Yeah, because they're gonna want you to audit. They're gonna want you to use their curriculum based on necessarily not Black and brown people.
Not at all. Somebody that read a book, some psychologist.
Right, and the guys that go through the process, and you'll get the numbers, but you haven't changed anybody.
Yeah, and then it's fugazi.
Yeah. The money is out there, but there's no significant change. People are just not changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know what we have to do. Our work is ahead of us. We hope that next week you guys join us as we kind of delve deeper. We're not going anywhere, so we're just gonna keep talking until this thing moves, and it will move eventually. Trust, it will move, because it will move by God's Spirit. This thing will move.
Yeah.
And so we hope and look forward to seeing Anthony next week. Here I am, I'm all like this in my head. I don't know if we have any questions. Let me see. Anthony Jones, as always, he's like, he don't understand why some men just don't take care of their children. It's a father thing. And I learned from Dr. McTarian, you can't be a father unless you be a son. That was so powerful. We got to have her back on. But Glenn, I want you to enjoy your birthday tonight. Happy birthday. I pray that you guys enjoy. It's 63 wonderful years. I thank God for all of the wisdom he's given you. Most of the time, for you to be who you are, I've had your experience, and me to be who I am, if I had my experience. We always come and those concepts, those ideas, those philosophies, theories, practice is always aligned. And that's how we know. And that's why I made sure that when I was doing this podcast, I wanted to make sure you were at the table and Anthony was at the table. And so
I like discussing these scenarios. So I think we should do more of that.
Okay, we could do that. Sure. We'll do dilemmas next week too. We'll do some more scenarios and just kind of talk about it, because that was good unpacking that whole issue with the women and not supporting kids. That's crazy.
And in fact, you kind of came on my side today.
I was on your side today, except for that damn worksheet. I was surely on your side today. Happy birthday, Glenn.
right, good job.
Really quick, guys, before we go, there was a comment on our Facebook feed that said when you were talking about the first scenario, they said to start a business when you were going down the options about should you get a second job, should you quit your job, blah blah blah. They said start a business.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
You
that
know,
was good too.
we talk about that. The downs
So
and
we'll just,
the ups and downs to that. That's the reality too. But we'll talk about the ups and downs
but
of that.
that's a good one though. That's a good one. We didn't talk about that.
that came from Will. That came from Will.
Oh yeah, Will, yeah, he would know it. Will, you need to come back on the show next week because some of this stuff I know for sure I'll be talking about y'all. So you need to be coming right on the show. I'll be getting real live information intel right from I got them right here. So I need y'all to be live and present. Will, please, plus you in the play, you in the animation. So you need to be able to come up here and talk about this stuff. So hopefully we'll have Will next week. We'll discuss it, bring some scenarios on. Glenn, you have a happy birthday.
Okay, thank y'all.
Subscribe to our YouTube page.
I'm not even telling people to subscribe. Foodie.
Yes, we're
They
going
don't
to tell
even
them every
subscribe.
day.
God.
Subscribe to our YouTube page. Can I Live podcast on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, share with your friends. Share the lives on Facebook when they come out. You can share the lives, you can share our YouTube links as
You know,
well.
when you talk, it's just a black screen. So she's
I'm
probably gonna cut all of that out.
Hi
Yep.
guys. Share, like. We are going to get to 100 likes, and you guys are going to help us.
I said, Foodie,
believe that.
don't say nothing. Nobody don't.
Guys, like it, subscribe, share. We appreciate you guys. Come back and see us next week. As we continue to talk about child support. What can we do? What can we change? Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.